G'day reefers, I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Welcome to Gallery Aquatica TV. Today we're going to be talking about acro eating flatworms. These horrible little parasites are one of the worst things that you can introduce into your SPS reef tank. Today we have an acro frag that we're going to be dipping. We're going to show you the process that we follow to ensure that you don't have any of these horrible little parasites introduced into your reef tank. So I've been donated a piece of Dallas Acropora. Now Dallas is one of the acroporas which is most prone to acro eating flatworm, so I'm a little bit concerned that it could be infested. Now there are some signs that I've seen when I picked up this piece, and the first thing I saw was tiny little bite marks on the base of the coral, and I also think I saw some eggs again around the base. Now these signs indicate that there could be an acro eating flatworm or multiple on this piece, so we're going to give it a good dip. Now we always dip acros and other corals to ensure that we're not introducing parasites into our systems, so we're going to show you the way that we do it here at Gallery Aquatica. So today we're going to start by opening up the bag. Now we received this Dallas colony from one of our clients, and we've just received it with a normal amount of water in the bag, and it's around about 1 litre of water in the bag. And I know this because I checked it roughly. We've got the 1 litre on the jug here. I put it in a bag and it came up to about the same level. So we're roughly looking at 1 litre. Now the bloody good dip, you use 50 mils per litre. So it works out quite nice that we're dosing for a litre. Now typically when you get a small frag, you have somewhere between half a litre and maybe a litre at the most. So typically you'd be using less than what we're going to use today. But the way that I use this is, before I do anything with the coral, I open up the bag and the cap is 10 mils. So I'm going to put in 5 caps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's important to note this is a dip for parasites. This is not something that you'd use for a bacterial infection. You don't use it in the same way you use an iodine-based dip. It's not something that we normally use when we're fragging as much, but it's excellent for this purpose. It's very easy to use, and you can, most importantly, you can use it in the bag. You don't have to set up a dip and a bath system that you do with a lot of the other dips. You can just use it as it is. Now I like to slightly swirl the bag. This can loosen any parasites, any acro eating flatworms that are on the Dallas colony, on your acro. But you can also at this stage get a pipette and actively pipette water over the coral. But we're going to leave it like this for 10 minutes, making sure it's under the water. We're going to give it 10 minutes and we'll come back and we'll have a closer look. It's been about 10 minutes since we put our dip into the bag, and I can already see some little floaties getting around in the bag, and they're probably going to be flatworms. So we're going to put the contents of the bag into the bucket and we're going to have a closer look. But one thing that is important to note is that the dip is basically potassium salts, and so there's nothing particularly nasty, and so you can actually put the coral directly from the bag in the dip into your tank. Today we're actually going to put this Dallas piece into a quarantine tank because of the number of flatworms, because what you do have to remember is that the dip does not actually kill the eggs. So whilst we're killing the adult worms, there will probably still be some eggs. You can scrape these off, but my preferred method is to do this process on a new piece of acro 2 or 3 times a week for at least sort of 2 or 3 weeks until you stop seeing the adult worms coming off. And that way you can be sure that you break the life cycle. So anyway, we'll put our Dallas and our water into the bucket and we'll see if we've got any acro eating flatworms. there are clearly a heap of acro eating flatworms that have come off this piece of Dallas. And this, to be honest, is not a huge surprise. Dallas, as I said before, is one of the acros that is really like candy for the acro eating flatworm. So I'm not going to put this into the tank here at Gallery Aquatica as I had planned. I'm going to take it back to our prop room and put it into a quarantine tank so I can repeat this process. So I'm just going to put it in some water that I've just taken out of one of the aquariums, and I'll put this back in here for now, and I'll take this piece back to the prop room so that we can quarantine it and ensure that when we do bring it in and put it into the display tank, that it is well and truly cured of acro eating flatworm. So the Bloody Good dip is exactly as its name suggests. It is an excellent dip for keeping horrible little invertebrate parasites of your coral out of your reef tank. And it works very well for other types of parasites like nudibranchs and bristleworms and things like that. Now, probably the best thing about the Bloody Good dip is the fact that you don't need to do a rinse on your coral before it goes straight into your tank. You can just get the dose into the bag as you buy it and then give it 10 minutes. If nothing comes off, you might choose to then put the coral straight into your reef tank. But that's it for today's episode of Gallery Aquatica TV. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing. That's it for this week's episode of Gallery Aquatica TV. Don't forget to like and comment on all our videos and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned to Gallery Aquatica TV for more exciting episodes to come. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing!